What? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to talk about my most recent past life experience. I already did a video on this very subject, you can check it down below, and it's all about like some kind of really short and weird like past life experiences that I've had. But I wanted to know a little bit more, and so I decided to try hypnosis. And I actually did it by watching a video, so I didn't go to anyone or anything like that. I don't even know like who are the people that can do this kind of things, but I wanted to give it a try, and I wanted to try it at home, and just I wanted to know if it actually worked at all, and it did, and it was so strange. It was this really weird experience. I'm actually going to link that video down below, and I really love that channel. It's by Michael Sealy, and he's amazing. His videos have helped me a lot. He has a lot of kind of videos like for sleeping or for anxiety. It's a very complete channel, and it really has started changing my life, so I really recommend it to you, especially if you are suffering from anxiety or depression, or you just can't sleep. It's really good. So I want to start, and I just want to say that I really wasn't expecting what happened. I usually have a very hard time trying to meditate and stuff like that because I have high anxiety, and usually my anxiety doesn't really let me like enter this free space, like this quiet and calm space. I just can't do it, and it's really hard for me. But with that in mind, again, I still wanted to try it, and I started listening to the video, and it was my first time experiencing hypnosis, and it was so weird but so calming at the same time. And like I've said, I've had a few experiences, but they were really short. I really couldn't understand exactly what they meant, and so I wanted to find a little bit more answers. But what I saw while I was under hypnosis, it wasn't what I was expecting. And I'm not going to give you a lot of details because I think it's an experience that you have to enter without knowing a lot. The first thing that I saw was me in a desert, and I thought it was very strange because in the video I was being told to really look around to where I lived, and I saw a desert and there were nothing but sand and rocks, and I thought that it had to be wrong. I just thought it's not possible that I'm living on just a desert. And I tried to open my mind, and then I saw a city around me, more like a town. And it was pretty arid. There were like dirt streets, and all the walls were gray. They were really old, and there were a lot of fabrics hanging from the walls and the doors. And there were a lot of people in there, and they were like dark skin, more like brown dark skin, and they were wearing clothes in their heads. And I don't know what city it was or what town. I just got the vibes from it being from the Middle East. In that town where I was, I didn't know which one it was. I don't know the name, but I just know it was like a really small, unimportant town. Like there was part of a bigger country, obviously, but that town was just, I don't know, like nobody knew it. It was pretty small. And the first thing that I saw about myself were my feet and my legs, and they were of a dark brown. And I was young. I was still a girl. I was young. I was about 15 or 16 years old. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was 15. And I was holding a pencil in my hand, and that was like, to me, it felt like it was my greatest possession. And I felt like one of my dreams was to go to school. I wanted to learn, and I don't know why, but I felt disappointed by it because I couldn't do it. And I remember going home, and there was this gray door, I think, and I entered the home. It was pretty small. There was a living room on my left, and then straight ahead was a kitchen, and in there was a woman. And this woman was tall, and she was again dark skin, and she had like something around her head. I don't know the name, and I knew it was my aunt. And I just didn't know where my parents were. I just knew they weren't there. And I saw a lot of kids playing in the living room, and they were pretty young, and I knew they were my family. They were my cousins and my brothers and sisters. I really couldn't tell you how many they were, but they were quite a few. And I remember being really angry at my aunt because I was blaming her that I couldn't go to school because she was the one telling me that I couldn't, and I thought it was all her decision, and I was just so angry and again very disappointed and very sad. And I asked her to give me my name because I didn't know it, and she did, but I couldn't. I couldn't understand. Like, I knew it was a language that I have never heard before, and it was a name that I have never heard before. And because my brain, I think, was trying to find like similar names that I already heard, and I just couldn't understand what she was saying to me, and I don't know still what my name was. I only know that it ended in YA, and that's it. I don't know exactly. It's only something like Maya or something like that, but not exactly. And like we had this talk and she was telling me that, you know, that it wasn't her fault and she wasn't the one making the rules, and I couldn't go to school because I needed to help with money and support our family. And if I went to school, first of all, we just couldn't afford it, and second of all, we needed more income because we were quite a poor family. Like, everyone in that town was poor. It was a really weird, awful situation. And I just remember just hugging her and telling her that I was sorry and that I understood and that I knew that it wasn't her fault. And I don't know, after that I just felt so happy, and I remember going to bed and just feeling the happiest I've been in my life, like just pure bliss. I felt so happy. And then everything changed, and it moved to the day that I was killed. I didn't get to grow old. I pretty much died at that same age. And in the room where I was, there was a bedroom, and there were 3 beds, and I was sharing that bedroom with all my cousins and my brothers and sisters. And I had a bed of my own, and it was next to a wall, and I was just sleeping, and the next thing I saw in the darkness was a man on top of me, covering my mouth. I couldn't see his face. All I knew was that he was pretty big, or he was really big to me, and he was covering my mouth, and I was so scared, and I was trying to scream, but I couldn't. And then 5 seconds later, that guy was stabbing me in my stomach, killing me. And again, I remember being scared, but I didn't feel it. Like, it was just a memory that I couldn't relate to anymore. It was really weird, and I remember like feeling desperation, but I couldn't feel it right there. Like, I could feel the happiness once I talked with my aunt, and we just, you know, like fixed our relationship or whatever. Like, I could feel that, but I couldn't feel the fear while being killed, and I didn't feel any kind of pain. And that ended, and the next moment I was standing in the middle of the room, and it was daylight, and it was daytime, and all the beds were empty, and I knew I was already dead. And I don't know, it felt like abandoned. It felt like this very lonely place that no one else lived in, and so I knew that everyone else in my house had been killed, because it just felt like so lonely. I don't know, I can't explain it. And I think all of that happened in the early 1980s, because in this life I was born in 1984, and so I think I died maybe in 1981 or something like that. Like, a long time didn't pass until I was born again. And it was so weird, because I wasn't expecting that at all, and I honestly thought that one of my last lives had been in the 1800s or something like that. Like, that was my last life, and then came along this one, but that's not true. And a lot of people don't believe in past life regressions because they think it's just your mind, and it probably is, but I don't know, I felt in her like such power and such will that I felt inspired, and I really thank her. And another thing that happened to me the next day, when it was so weird, I was in the bathroom and I was washing my hands, and I looked at the mirror and I saw myself through her eyes, and I have never experienced something like that. It was really like seeing myself through someone else's eyes, and I don't know, it was it was so strange, because I was looking at me, but it was just my reflection. Like, I was there, but like in third person, like in a dream. Like, I was watching myself watching my own reflection, but it wasn't me, it was her. I can't explain it really well, and it was so strange, but all I remember is seeing my face, but it was a face that I have never seen before. Although I see it every day in the mirror, it was a face that I have never seen before. And I remember that I was just staring at me, like my eyes, my nose, whatever, as if it was something really new. And I felt her giving approval, like, you're fine, like, you will be fine, you're fine. And I don't know, like, she was just happy to see me, and it was so weird, and it lasted about 10 seconds. Again, it was something that I appreciated, and I appreciated her being just happy for me. And I know it sounds incredibly insane, and a lot of people don't believe in it, and I get why, like, I truly do. But even if it wasn't real, even if it was all in my head and it was just a story that I made up, I'm still grateful for the experience. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Have you have experiences like that? Have you tried hypnosis? Just let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you have fun. I hope this was an interesting video, and I'll see you later. Bye!